Now here in this video, I'm going to talk about your Amazon EC2 service. So EC2 is a web service which provides you resizable computing capacity and your own virtual data centers in the cloud. You can use this virtual server or EC2 instances to deploy your service or application. It provides you same as on-premises infrastructure on cloud. So let's begin with AWS to create an EC2 instance. So very first, we should have an account on your Amazon Web Services. So for that, we need to click on Sign In on your AWS console. If you are a new user, you have to enter your email or mobile number and click on I am a new user. Then you have to click on Sign In using your secure server. Further, you have to add your name. Once again, you have to type your email address, enter your password and create an account. Here they'll ask for contact information. You'll have to add your name, company name, country, address, city, state, your PIN code, phone number if any, and the last is the security check. Click here to indicate that you have read and agreed to the terms. And so I've clicked in. If you wish to know what is in the customer agreement, you can click on this custom agreement link and know, and then continue to create the account. The characters I have added were wrong, so just let me do it once more. So the account has been created. Now here they are asking for your payment information. You need to enter the card holder's name, your credit card details or the debit card details, the expiration date. You can use your contact address which you have added, or you can also add a new address if you wish to. Lastly, you need to provide them with your PAN information. If you have a PAN card, you have to click on yes, and if you don't, click on no. Once you verify your card, your account will be ready. Once this information is verified, previously I showed you how to sign in for a new account, but I already have my existing account, so I'll sign in there. Now I have signed in from my existing account, and these are all the services AWS offers. For EC2, that is under compute services, which we are going to use here. So I'm going to click on EC2. Now this is EC2 console. In the left top corner, you can see London over here. So this is a section where you can change the region where you are going to set your EC2 instance. EC2 instance is nothing but server on cloud. So you can create your server across the world. Now here you can see the resources section, which lists you all the resources used in EC2. So you can see there are no running instances in EC2 and we haven't created any instance. So to create a new instance, you have to click on launch instance. Once you have clicked the launch instance, you will be taking 7 steps to create an instance. Step 1 is choose an Amazon machine image, also known as AMI. AMI is nothing but your operating system images which you use to install in your server. So here you can see the images of Windows and all distributors of Linux operating system as well. The AMI images with the tag of free tier eligible are free, and who do not have any tag are chargeable. I'm going to use Microsoft Windows Server 2016 base, which is of 64-bit. It is free tier eligible and I'm going to select it now. Step 2 is choose an instance type. This instances types are the virtual servers with varying combinations of CPU, memory, storage and network. In short, it's a configuration of servers. These are all the instances types that you can see. T2 Nano, which has only one CPU, 0.5 GB RAM memory, internal storage EBS only, which is default 8 GB. Network performance is low to moderate and IPv6 it is supporting. Likewise, we have a T2 Large of 2 CPUs, 8 GB RAM, internal storage EBS only. There is low to moderate network performance and IPv6 is supporting here as well. Among all these instances, I am going to use the T2 Micro, which is a free tier eligible, which has one CPU, 1 GB RAM, internal storage EBS only, low to moderate network performance, and it is also supporting IPv6. There is a free tier eligible only for one account which you can use, and I have already used that. So the next step is configure instance details. Moving on to the step 3, configure instance details. They have asked a number of instances. Generally it is an auto scaling group, but I'm using the default option, which is 1. In network, they have already provided us with the default network. If you wish to create your new network, you need to click here. So I'm going to select the default network. Next, we shall move to subnet. In subnet also you have 2 options given. You can choose any one of it, or if you want your own subnet, you need to click on create new subnet. I've already selected one subnet of it. Move on to auto assign public IP. So an auto assign public IP is for assigning public IP address to the instances so that these instances can be connected over the internet using public networks. Use subnet setting enable. This option will set the same public policy defined on your subnet. So if the subnet allows you to assign public IP, it will set public IP. And if it is disabled, you won't be able to get public IP. So here you can see that it is enabled in our subnet settings. Either you can manually select enable or disable for public IP in your present instance. So I have selected use subnet settings. So next I'm moving to IAM role. So IAM role is identity and access management, which provides you with an authentication security for the users who can access this particular instance and revoke the access permission for anonymous users. So the next is shutdown behavior. Shutdown behavior indicates how you're going to shut down your instances, whether you are going to terminate or you're going to stop. We would generally not use terminate because it may crash your instances. So for now I'm using stop. The next is enable termination protection. This option protects you against any accidental termination that occurs on your instance. So here I'm going to select protect against accidental termination. So the next is monitoring. Allowing this monitoring option will enable your cloud watch service, which monitors your instance and performance by monitoring the resources such as CPU utilization, memory utilization, network usage, etc. So I'm going to enable CloudWatch detailed monitoring. So the next option is tenancy. Tenancy is an option which sets a policy of your instance on how it is going to use the resources you share. So there are 3 options. Shared will run a shared hardware instance. Dedicated will run a dedicated instances, while dedicated host will launch this instance on a dedicated host only. For now, I am going to choose shared, run a shared hardware instance. The next is network interfaces. I am going to choose the default network interfaces, which will automatically choose the primary IP address. Moving on to our next step, that is add storage. So in the step 4, add storage. Add storage allows you to attach additional EBS volumes. In general, we can call it as disks. Right now we can see the EBS storage, which is defaultly attached along with our instances and used to install the OS. We have 30 GB, so I no need to add any new disk. So I will move on to my next step, that is add tags. Step 5 is add tags. You can define tags with a key, name and value, and web server. These tags are used during the billing where you can identify your resources. I'll now show you how you can add a tag. You have to enter name, and I will give a value as VM1, and then I can move on to my next step, that is configure security group. So we are into step 6, configure security group. A security group is a set of firewall rules that control the traffic for your instance. On this page, you can add rules to allow specific traffic to reach your instance. For example, if you want to set up a web server and allow internet traffic to reach your instance, add rules and allow unrestricted access to the HTTP and HTTP ports. You can create a new security group or select from existing as shown below. To create a new security group, By default, it selects the create a new security group. But if you already have an existing security group and if you want to choose an existing security group, you need to select and mention your security group name along with the description. So if you are creating a Windows instance, by default it creates allow rule for RDP and other protocol are by default denied. Same way, if you are creating a Linux instance, it will assign allow rule for SSH protocol. By default, we have RDP here as we are creating Windows instances. We can add more rules to allow other protocol. I'll show you how to add more rules. Here I'm selecting HTTP. Assuming that I'm going to create this instance as a web server and deploying websites. The protocol is default TCP with port range 80, as 80 is default port number for HTTP. Source I'm going to use 000 as I can connect my websites from anywhere. Moving on to our next step, that is review and launch. So this is our last step, review instance launch. Here you can see the instance type that we have already selected, T2 micro, variable, 1, memory 1 GB, EBS only, low to moderate. We have selected Microsoft Windows Server 2016 base. But before launch, I can also see a warning that it is showing that a security group, as we have selected 000 and we have given access to everyone, it is very unsafe, and so it is showing a warning which we are going to ignore, and we are going to launch our instance by clicking on launch. Once you launch your instance, there opens a dialog box with select an existing key pair or create a new key pair, where we can choose create a new key pair. If you already have an existing key pair, you can also choose that. But for now, we are choosing a new key pair. This key pair are shared at both the ends at AWS as a public key and with you as a private key file. This file you need to keep safely with you as it will be required to connect to your instance. If you don't have this key pair, you won't be able to connect to your instance. So I'm going to create a new key pair with name key1. Then we need to download this key pair. We have already downloaded the key pair. The key pair key1 that we selected has been downloaded. Make sure you keep the key pair that you have downloaded safe so that you can connect your instance. So for now, we will launch our instance. Here the launch status, it is showing that your instances are now launching. So we'll move back to our services EC2. On your services page in the resources, now it is showing one running instances. When you click on it, you will be able to see your instance. So now you can see the status, it is running. Let us provide a name to our instance. So here's the description of your instance that you've created. The next tab shows you the status, check. The next is the monitoring. In monitoring, these graphs shows you the graph report of network disk and CPU utilization of your instance. The next is the tags. Here are the tags that we have provided. After this process, we need to connect our instance, but before connecting, we will click on our instance and then click on connect. To connect our instance, we need to download remote desktop file. Once we have downloaded, we need to get the password. For this, you need to choose the file that has been downloaded, the key pair path. To connect to your instance, after getting the password, you need to download your key name that we have already downloaded. You need to choose that file which has been stored in the downloads. The file name is key1. So after choosing, you can see here it's an encrypted file. Then you have to click on decrypt password. So it has been decrypted. The password. To further connect your instance, you need to copy this password. The copied password will be pasted in the RDP that you have already downloaded. You need to select the connect. It has been connected. And below the administrator, you need to paste that password that you have downloaded. Click on remember me and then OK. Post that, you need to click on yes. Your instance has already started. Your Windows 2016 server has started and it is ready to use. I'll just show a few folders to you. We can use this server as we use our physical server. So here you have seen how to create instance on AWS cloud. So you create your own infrastructure on a cloud in the same way. Thank you and all the best.